Psychology is formally defined as the scientific study of the behavior of individuals and of their mental processes. Psychologists then try to use their research to predict, and in some cases, control behavior. Ideally, out of their basic research will come solutions for the practical problems that plague individuals and society.
You want to look inside? Okay, you open it up for me. Okay.
So while some psychologists study mental processes simply because they are fascinating and challenging,
Mommy.
3 times 48.
others work to improve education,
Robbie.
208.
to reduce stress, to promote peace,
The conflict between Iran and Iraq, and
to counteract violence.
that symbolizes enmity.
And there are the dedicated people watchers who observe behavior under specially arranged conditions, measuring it and testing it. For many, the reason to study behavior is the assumption that it's an outer sign of an inner reality, a window providing a glimpse into the workings of the human mind. But psychological researchers who emphasize the essential biological basis of behavior and those who compare the behavior of different organisms study the activities of a wide variety of living creatures, not just humans. Even seemingly minor, insignificant behavior can yield important data about general psychological functions, such as clues about how we process information.
Hi, I'm Mr. Dressler. Who are you?
Josephine Kashinyana.
Let's do a little psychological detective work of our own by observing some junior high school girls as they meet a handsome new teacher. Their reactions were filmed for the television series Candid Camera. Notice the difference between the girls' public behavior when the teacher is present and their private behavior once he leaves the room.
I'd like to know whether girls would like to be in my class. We're, Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Will you all bear with me? Can you have patience just a second? Let me answer this. I'll be right back.
Please, I was looking at him. It's gonna be a play. You can turn this down. He's young, too. He must be at least around 24.
Would you mind being in my class?
No, at least I'm with Mimi.
Thank you, Miss Wayne. Excuse me a minute. Will you all wait for me just 1 second?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The behavior of dozens of girls in this situation was captured by Candid Camera producer Alan Funt. Let's focus on just one aspect of their many reactions. Why are these girls laughing? When I asked a large number of my students about the girls' behavior, they came up with a range of explanations. That the girls were laughing because they were either nervous, excited over their good fortune, showing their friends how cool they were, or laughing in eager anticipation of a novel event, feeling self-conscious, feeling sexually aroused, or lastly, and by far the most common explanation, that they were simply showing a typical reaction of adolescent girls. Of course, if the last explanation were true, then we'd expect to see different behavior from a group of adolescent boys. Let's see what happens if we repeat the same situation using boys and an out-of-the-ordinary female teacher.
Hi. Hi. What's your name? Charles Birdwood. Hi, nice to meet you. Joe Paul. Nice to meet you. My name is Miss Darling, and I'm going to be a new teacher in social studies.
Despite some behavioral differences between them, the boys had the same basic reaction as the girls.
You're wanted on the phone, Miss Darling. Would you follow me, please?
Oh, would you wait here for me a couple of minutes? I'll be right back.
But before we try to answer why the youngsters reacted as they did,
Ask yourself how you reacted as a viewer. Did you laugh too? If so, ask yourself why. Was it because, as most of my students thought, we naturally tend to empathize with the children because we remember being in awkward situations at that age too? Or was it because you felt uneasy observing their private reactions to sexual titillation, a kind of voyeur's guilt? Or did you laugh because you experienced a violation of expectations about how teachers are supposed to look and act, remembering back to how your teachers actually looked and behaved? Were you reacting emotionally to the same violation of expectations that the children were experiencing?
Holy mackerel.
Whatever type of behavior psychologists look at, whether it's laughing, crying, making war, or making love, or anything else, they try to make sense of it by relating the observed behavior to certain aspects of the individual involved and the situation in which the behavior occurred. For example, my genetic makeup, personality traits, attitudes, and mental state are some of the personal factors involved in my behavior. They're known as dispositional factors. They're internal, characteristics and potentials inside me. While external things such as sensory stimulation, rewards, or the actions of other people are known as situational factors. They come from the outside, from the environment in which my behavior takes place. If you want a graphic lesson in the influence of situational factors, take a look at this picture. Which is the tallest cowboy? Which is the shortest? Seems obvious, doesn't it? Now let's isolate them from their background context and compare them. You can see how the context of the situation, in this case the picture's background, misled your perception and judgment. Or take a look at this sign and read it out loud. Paris in the spring, right? But this is what it really says. Another violation of expectations, a case where your past experience creates a dispositional readiness to respond in a particular way.